Okay, so the purpose of today's video is to go through the home buying process. As you may know, each person's experience may differ. Someone may have different challenges and roadblocks than you would, but generally, each home buyer goes through the same home buying process, and that's what we're going to review today. If you have any additional questions, feel free to email me at apedraza@c21affiliated.com or send me a message on Facebook through facebook.com/alexispedraza c21. Without further ado, let's get right into it. I like to break down the home buying process in 5 simple steps. 1. Applying for the mortgage. 2. House shopping. 3. Making an offer. 4. The contingency period. And then finally, 5. The closing. Unless you have the total amount of money to buy a home in cash, you're going to need to apply for a mortgage. You can apply at a bank such as Chase, Bank of America, BMO Harris, or other lenders such as Preferred Rate, Loan Depot, Guaranteed Rate, and more. The application process can typically be done all online or over the phone. If you don't know anyone in the lending business, I highly suggest you reach out to me and I can get you in touch with a few of my lending partners. Now, the way I want you to view your relationship with your lender is as your financial partner. They are the ones who are loaning you the money to buy your home. So how does it all work? When you apply, you are trying to get pre-approved to borrow a certain amount of money. When you are working with your lender, they will run a credit and background check along with asking for a list of documents such as previous W-2s, bank statements, pay stubs, etc. Once they receive all the information needed, they will review your application to either issue you a pre-approval letter or deny the application. There's a number of reasons an application gets denied. I'd say the top 2 are either a poor debt to income ratio or a low credit score. If your application does get denied, don't sweat it, there is some good news. The lender will usually develop an action plan to help you get on track so you know exactly what needs to be done to receive your pre-approval letter. Once you receive your pre-approval letter, this is where I say, be frugal with your expenses. Try not to splurge or make any big purchases because the amounts you were pre-approved for can then change, resulting in you not qualifying for the loan in the worst case scenario. As long as you pay for the essentials, you will be fine. So once you have that pre-approval letter, which typically comes as a PDF file and an email, it is your golden ticket to move on to step 2, house shopping. Now comes the fun part, house shopping. So house shopping is pretty self-explanatory. Once you have the pre-approval letter, then we know exactly what fits within your budget. The next part would be narrowing down which neighborhood you want to live in. From there, I will search for the houses that best match the qualities you are looking for in your home. Once we find you the right home, it's time to make an offer. So an offer is considered official when presented in writing. Even though we might have had a verbal agreement with the sellers, nothing is guaranteed until it's presented and executed in writing. As the buyer, you will initial, date, and sign the contract first, before offering to the sellers. This shows good faith that you are serious about buying the home. Now let's say we made an offer on a home. Usually negotiation will take place if the first offer is not accepted. This is where the agents go back and forth until both the seller and the buyer can find common ground and agree on the terms. An offer is considered accepted when both parties have signed the contract. On this contract, commonly known as the purchase agreement, states the terms including the purchase price, earnest money, and any additional add-ons. To reiterate, an offer is considered accepted when both the buyer and the seller sign the contract. The key word here is accepted. The seller will initial, sign the contract, and date their day of acceptance. When the seller fully signs and accepts the purchase agreement, this triggers the next step. That being step 4, the contingency period. During the contingency period, this is another point where it differs from person to person. Some people may have extra steps here. However, the majority will undergo this process. The first 2 steps, attorney review and buyer's inspection, are happening simultaneously. By this point, you would already have a real estate attorney in mind who you would want to work with. If you currently don't know an attorney and would like to reach out to one, feel free to contact me and I can get you in touch with one of my real estate attorney partners. The purpose of the attorney review is for the attorney to approve, disapprove, or propose modifications to the contract, aka the purchase agreement. In other words, they double check and make sure all the information on the contract is accurate and filled out correctly so we can continue moving forward. While that's happening, you and I would already have scheduled a home inspection. Unless waived. So technically, you don't have to do an inspection. However, it's highly recommended, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. That way, you know exactly what you're buying in terms of the condition and quality of the home. If you're unsure where or who to order a home inspection from, feel free to contact me and I can get you in touch with one of my inspectors. After the inspection is done, you will receive an inspection report. Based on the report findings, a number of things can happen. If everything looks good, we can move on and continue business as usual. If the findings prove to be too much and overwhelming, you can rescind your offer with no penalties. Or you can request the seller resolve any major repairs found on the report. By requesting repairs, this triggers the action of further negotiation, where the buyer and seller would have to come to an agreement on which repairs the seller is willing to get done. Once the seller agrees and gets the repairs done, we can move forward to the next steps. The lender who issued you the pre-approval letter and is providing you the loan is also responsible for ordering the appraisal. The purpose of an appraisal is to determine the value of the property. The appraiser will evaluate the home and provide an appraisal report when completed. If the home appraises at the agreed upon sales price or more, then you're in the clear. If the house appraises for less than the agreed upon sales price, then the buyer and seller need to come to a mutual solution to hold the deal together. Otherwise, the lender won't approve the loan. After the house appraises or the seller and buyer come to an agreement, we are nearing the end. While the lender is ordering the appraisal, you as the home buyer have the responsibility of shopping around for homeowner's insurance. One of the most common solutions is to bundle your homeowner's insurance with your current auto insurance provider. Feel free to shop around and find the best rate that works for you. When all parties carry out their responsibilities and you get the clear to close from the lender, it's time to move on to step 5, the closing. The closing is where both parties finish the final steps in transferring ownership and receiving home ownership. This is when all the paperwork is being finalized and when all the funds are being dispersed. This is also the day where the down payment and closing costs will be paid out. From the moment you receive the pre-approval letter to closing day, the process typically takes about 30 to 60 days. Yet the time frame can vary. After all the paperwork is finalized and the funds are dispersed, you will receive the keys to your house and you are now officially a homeowner. So thank you guys for watching. I hope I answered a lot of your questions regarding the home buying process, as well as shed some light on a few things you didn't know were there before. As I stated earlier, everyone's situation is unique and you might go through something different, or you might go through the process exactly as you've seen here. If you feel you are better prepared to tackle homeownership and would like to get started, reach out to me at my email, apedraza@c21affiliated.com, or send me a message on Facebook through facebook.com/AlexisPedraza C21. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.